Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the DC Comics New 52 trade, Batman, The Dark Knight, Volume 3, Mad, written primarily by Greg Hurwitz with art by Ethan Van Sciver and Simon Kudranski, respectively. This particular volume collects issues 16 through 21 of The Dark Knight, as well as Dark Knight Annual number 1, and it was just a blast to read through, I have to tell you. I mean, dealing with primarily the Mad Hatter, as the title suggests, mad and everything, Jervis Tetch, as it were. The entire plot begins with people going missing by the hundreds in modern-day Gotham, and it's all to do with a plot being hatched by the Mad Hatter, Jervis Tetch. And I like that this is somewhat of a sort of flashback origin story in that we're beginning to get a sense of why Mad Hatter is the way he is and why this story is unfolding as it is, essentially. Basically, he's trying to recapture lightning in a bottle. His greatest day was a date he had with a school crush, this girl named Alice, very apropos to his sort of villainy character and his mental psychosis that would develop. It was his best day ever. She didn't think she'd have fun with him. They went to this little Fantasyland kind of park with, things out of folk tales, like going down the rabbit hole and, Humpty Dumpty on the wall and all these different kinds of things. And she really enjoyed herself. And this was his pinnacle day in his life. And shortly thereafter, he actually found out some very bad news that essentially while all the other children in school would continue growing and developing because of a hormonal or, genetic problem, he would stop growing. He would remain small and sort of weakling and everything like that, much like a child. His brain could still develop, but, he wasn't satisfied because he was seeing this girl, Alice, looking at the other boys who were growing stronger and everything. And basically, she turned him down. So very much when his parents bring him to the doctor, where they have this experimental drug that has all these kinds of potential side effects and psychopathy, lots of emotional and, sort of mental problems that could perchance be born in him if he takes the gamble on it. He's very adamant about trying it anyway. And he does so, and this is kind of his own going down the rabbit hole, starting that whole psychosis that would be born in him to make him the Mad Hatter, mind-bending monster that he would later become and all this kind of stuff. And as it coincides with his trying to recapture this love of old and the people going missing, how that all plays into it, it coincides with Bruce Wayne's own love life, kind of being put through the ringer. He's very much romantically involved with this woman by the name of Natalia, who's a concert pianist. And because of, the loss of Damien, which I guess is something that happened recently to this, just prior to it probably, and all that kind of thing, he's basically stonewalling her. You get the sense that maybe she suspects his Batman alter ego, but she's trying to give him every opportunity to open up to her and all this stuff. And at the moment, he doesn't want to put her life on the line. He feels like it's too much of a gamble and a risk. And even after words from Alfred to the contrary, that maybe he could use something like this, someone he could open up to, other than Alfred himself, it takes him a little going through the motions to finally get to that decision. And it was mind-boggling to me because we see Bruce Wayne make that decision in this volume to open his life as Batman to her. I mean, he basically shows up at her apartment in the Batwing, and this is me, he says. Takes her back to the Batcave, this is me, and shows her the Batsuit, this is me. So he opens up the floodgates, and it has a very tragic twist as Jervis Tetch basically is keeping an eye out on anywhere Batman shows up, because Batman's constantly thwarting all of his little criminal activities. And he notes that this woman's being dropped off by the Batwing one night, so they capture her, and suddenly she becomes the embodiment of this Alice of old that he's trying to recapture. And when the curtain finally falls, let's just say it does, very bloodily so. And it's a very captivating, very intriguing story, which tests Bruce Wayne's limits as Batman. He almost becomes the criminal himself when finally confronted with Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, in the end. And then the annual volume is absolutely hilarious. You basically have Jervis Tetch, the Penguin, as well as the Scarecrow. They all get these notes that tell them to come to this abandoned Arkham facility, and you think, they've all been led there by Batman. That's what they think and everything like that. And it's their own fears that get the best of them because Batman just wanted a night off. And, it's Halloween night. He sent the messages to them, and it's their own fears that are doing them in as he's basically having the best night of sleep in his life. Brilliant. So yeah, couldn't say any higher praise for this particular volume. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you've read the volume, what you thought of it, if you'll be checking it out otherwise. And yeah, so that would be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.